What?
What?
What the hell is this?
Harumph. I didn't get a harumph out of that guy.
Give the governor harumph.
Harumph!
You watch your ass.
I see you shiver with anticipation.
Let the show begin.
Hey everybody, this is David Heretic coming at you with another edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. And tonight, alright, we're coming back to Brand of Sacrifice. Yes, indeed, Brand of Sacrifice fans, feeling you. Come on now. Here we go. Before we go any further, for those of you who are feeling inclined to doing all the clicks and the likes and the bibbity-boobity bob, do me a favor, before you do all that stuff, please watch the whole video first, okay? Give me a chance to actually earn those clicks and likes. Now, after the video's done, if you still feel like doing all those clicks and likes, then by all means, feel free to click away. This comes as a request from Derek Charles, and Derek wanted to see me react to this song by Brand of Sacrifice called Demon King. Now, have I heard the song before? No, I have not. To the best of my knowledge, this does not resonate with me in any way, shape, or form. However, there's always a possibility I may have heard the song in passing and I just don't realize it. So as always, if I start listening to the song and I suddenly go, wait a minute, wait a second, I recognize this song, I'll let you know.
That's the truth.
You know me, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. This was posted by Brand of Sacrifice, okay? And the video has 323,000 views. It'll get you there. Other than that, there's really nothing else left to say. Link to the original video will be down below in the video description for your viewing pleasure at your leisure. Let's get started. What do you say? Are you ready? Are you ready? Because here we go. All right, here we go. Brand of Sacrifice, Demon King official music video. Wah, wah, wah.
Damn it.
Official music video coming off their official page. You know what I'm gonna say, so I'm not gonna bother saying it. All I'm gonna say is we're gonna just have to wait and see what happens and hope for the best. All right, let's do this.
All right, boy, let's do this.
Okay, they didn't waste any time. Instrumentally, I'm digging it. I'm digging the instrumentals. I'm digging the drums. I'm digging the guitars. I'm digging the bass. Really like the unison lines when the guitar and bass make those runs together. Those unison lines, they sound clean. They really do. Even with that super fast picking that's going on, it's still clean. It's got a nice feel. It's got a nice groove, nice energy, good drive. I'm not digging the vocals on this one. I'm just not. I'm looking for it, man. I'm looking for those, melodic undertones in the grit and growl, and I'm not finding them. It's pure grit and growl. Even when he does the variations, even when he pinches and gets that little, like the really pinched grit and growl voice, there's still no melodic undertones in there. There's no melodics whatsoever. Not the biggest fan of the vocals, if I'm being honest. I'm sorry. That's an understatement. I'm just going to say it. I'm not a fan of the vocals at all on this song. Not at all. Really hoping that cleans up. I'm really hoping it, starts to show some variation with, melodics versus non-melodics. I hear variation within the grit and growl. I do, but there's no melodics. And I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of pure grit and growl. So. But instrumentally, I'm digging the song. I'm digging the song instrumentally. So let's see how this continues to go. Instrumentally, it's tight. Decelerando. Very slow decelerando. Very subtle. Still decelerating, I think. Yeah, it's still decelerating. That whole section we just heard was one long and very drawn out and very subtle decelerando. It kept getting a little bit slower and a little bit slower and a little bit slower and a little bit slower, but it was very smooth. It never felt jarring, not once, and I never felt a sudden drop. It was just a nice, smooth deceleration all the way down. Very, very nicely done. Gotta give credit there, man. That was very, very well executed. Musically, again, tight, clean. I like what I'm hearing musically. Vocally, I'm just not a fan. I'm just not. I don't dig on the guy's vocals, man. I don't. Not on this song. Let's finish this out and we'll get to the review. This is going to be an interesting review. And we're right back up to our original tempo. Nice. I love that extra thick guitar tone from the 7-string guitars, man. Those are nice. They might even be playing 8 strings. That's possible, but I only saw 7, so. This is going to be an interesting review. Very interesting review. Should be entertaining. Let me get my thoughts together. I'll see you in the review, and we'll talk about it. Well, there you go, folks. That was Brand of Sacrifice with Demon King. And this was a request from Derek Charles. This is going to be an interesting review. Let's start with a score. Let's start with a score, and then I'll go into everything. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give that a 7.3. Yep, 7.3. I feel good about that score. Let me tell you why.
Why?
There was no middle ground on this song. None. There was nothing I liked or I disliked. I either loved it or I hated it. And there were multiple things on both sides. Things I loved. I loved the instruments. I loved the instrumental of the song. The guitars, the bass, the drums. Loved everything that they were doing. It was tight. It was clean. The energy was there. It was driving. It was pushing forward. I love the attitude of the song, the feel of the song. The tone, the guitar tone, nice, thick, and crunchy, but without getting muddy. It came close a couple times, but not ever coming up to the actual line. I loved that, man. It sounded really thick and really good. The drumming on this was very, very well done. I loved everything I heard from the instrumentals, man. I did. And the other thing I really loved about the song was the fact that in the middle of the song, they had that section where it just decelerando very slowly, very smoothly, and it went all the way through for like a whole minute and a half. I was actually very impressed by that. That was really, really cool to hear. And to see it done as well as it was and as finally executed as it was. And then when they were done with it, no accelerando. They just jumped. They just went right back to the original tempo. Very jarring, very sudden. But I liked it because it had been going for so long, decelerating so smoothly and so slowly, and then out of nowhere, boom, we come back up again. Kind of like that wake you up type of moment, and it executed that perfectly. So very nice job on their part. What I hated, the vocals. Oh, good Lord. No melodics whatsoever, just pure grit and growl. And listen, I know there are people who love that. I know there are people who are big fans of that. I am not one of those people. I like grit and growl vocals, I do. But those grit and growl vocals have to have some melodics in there. Either melodic undertones within the grit and growl, which is fine, it works. My personal favorite is when you got the grit and growl mixed with clean vocals, and there's a distribution. My personal preference, about 65 to 70% melodic singing, about, I would say 35 to 30% grit and growl. That's my own personal preference, okay? But I can negotiate with that. If it's 50-50, I can work with that. I absolutely can. But when it's pure grit and growl, nothing else, I'm not a fan. I heard the variations in the grit and growl. I heard it when he went into what we like to call the Cookie Monster vocal, when he gets, Cannibal Corpse way down low, open throat, ooh, type of vocals. I heard that, and then I also heard, the high pinch grit and growl as well. I heard all of those, and they're all great variations, but there's no melodic undertones in there. There's just none. It's just pure grit and growl, and it's cool to see the variations. It's wonderful, but no melodic undertones in there to be found. Was not a fan of that. The other thing I was not a big fan of was the samplings. I felt the samplings were distracting and taking away from the instrumentation. When they would come in, they would take over. And I mean, they would basically drown out the guitar and drums. The drums were able to come through a bit, but whenever they did those samplings, man, I really feel like it took away from the instrumentation. I really wish they had left those samples out because I didn't see any rhyme or reason for them. It gave it more dissonance. Yes, it did. But was the dissonance necessary? Did the dissonance add to the song? It did for the sake of dissonance, but it took away from the instrumentation, I feel. So I was not a fan of it. So Like I said, there's no middle ground here. I either loved it or I hated it. I loved certain things, I hated certain things. At the end of the day, after taking everything into consideration, I came up with a 7.3. It is a really good song, and there were some pretty impressive things happening in there. Unfortunately, we had the things that I was just not a fan of, and I personally found no value in. So that's how I'm coming up with the 7.3. I feel good with that score, and that's where we're going to stay. So 7.3, final score, I have spoken. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. Hope you all enjoyed the show. Hopefully, I was able to entertain you. If I was able to put a smile on your face and brighten your day, I did my job, and I'm so glad I could do it. If you guys feel like joining the fan base, go ahead and click on that button down there. If you guys want to like the video, go ahead and like the video. If you guys want to ring the bell, go ahead and ring the bell. It honestly doesn't make a difference at all to me, but if you guys feel like doing these things, then by all means, feel free to do so. Well, that's going to do it for the night, folks. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, this is David Heretic signing off, reminding you to stay fabulous and support each other. Later. Peace.